these two drawings are the exact same thing. They're both an eye. And they use the same reference and have the same proportions, same features, same everything. But one looks something a little bit more real, and the other one something looks a little bit more something you see in like a doodle or what most people would make. And the difference between these lies in one thing. And it's not talent or years of practice or whatever. It's one thing. It's shading. Before we get into the value section, I'd like to dive deeper into these drawings. So let's take a look at this one first. The eye is well placed, has detail, and is on point. The proportions are there, accurate. However, it lacks the depth, the values. Why? It's because it's the same lightness, without any sort of shading or darkness any place like where the wrinkles are. It has no depth. Everything's the same color. It's like a map with no elevation. You know something's there, but you can't feel it. And then we have the shaded version. Now when you look at this one, you can immediately tell that each part of the eye is on like a separate level. Like the eyes under this, the eyelashes are above that. You could tell based on where the shadows are coming from. And your brain reads these as three-dimensional things due to the shading. And that's exactly what value does. It creates the illusion of form on a completely flat surface, like this piece of paper. Value means how light or dark something is. It has nothing to do with color, because it applies the same idea. Even in pure black and white like this, value alone can make a drawing feel like it's breathing. So now we're really getting to the main part of this tutorial. What is value? So let me give you an example. Think about a lamp like this. I know it's a bad drawing. And it's shining on a ball. The side facing the lamp, this side right here, is going to be the bright side. It's going to be light. It's practically going to be white. And then right over here that's not facing the lamp is going to be really, really dark. And between those extremes, there's going to be a gentle gradient. The middle zone right over here. And this is called a halftone. And what a lot of people want from this tutorial is make something like a portrait. And your face works the exact same way. The bridge of the nose catches the light, the side of the face falls into shadow, the area under the brow, under the cheekbones, those are all dark pockets that carve out the structure of the face. So before we even start a portrait, before any of you guys start a portrait, you need to learn this. We need to train our eye to see value. And the best way to do that is starting with the most classical artist thing to do. It's with the value rectangle. So let's build one right now. So grab your pencil and do this with me. So we're drawing a simple rectangle like this. I've already divided it into 5 sections, but I would also like you to do this. This is just a simpler version of what we're about to do. Each box is going to be a different value from absolute black on the left side to a pure white on the right. This is what you call a value scale, and it's the most important drawing exercise you can practice. So box 1 right over here, I'm going to leave this completely blank. It's white. It's my lightest value. So in box 2, I'm going to just put slightly bit more pressure, just like this. I like to keep like one sort of motion going and not trying to add any more extra lines. Okay, that should be fine. Box 3. So this is your medium tone, mid-tone, whatever you would like to call it. So this would be medium pressure and it would be consistent strokes. Otherwise, it's gonna look a little off. I want to go in one direction and then I'll start layering it later as we go on to slightly fill up the grains of paper you could see like right over here, which I'll go after a little bit later. just like this. Just going over it again now from a different thing to just take away that graininess. Just really fill up the piece. Just do the same with this one right over here. And then you can already see this start to take shape. So watch how this simple gradient immediately reads as a light source. The white feels lit right over here, and the middle feels like it's turning away from the light, which is what we would expect, like that wall example we used earlier. That's exactly what your brain does when it sees a drawing. The gradient equals the light source, which equals to a three-dimensional object. No gradient, no objects, just a flat symbol like that eye we saw earlier. So box 4, a little bit more pressure now. So yep, start off really strong. It's fine to go out of the lines, you know, happy little accidents. Now we just go over it like that. Yep, we got the next box right over here. So I'll just clean that up right there. Still seems pretty grainy. And then lastly, box 5. This is the darkest it's gonna get. And same thing here, but now we could just put as much pressure as we want because we want this to be really, really dark. To really show how this is the darkest side of the value scale. Yep, there we go. Right over here. This is it. 5 values. This is the entire toolkit. Every shadow, every highlight in a portrait lives somewhere on this scale. Obviously, you can go higher into the phase 3 of it, which is slightly longer, but this pretty much sums up what you really need to know. So now this is where things really start to get exciting. This is a value scale, and it's just boxes sitting next to each other. But obviously, I kind of lightened out the lines between them. But what if we blend those transitions? What if instead of sudden jumps, like these boxes, we make them gradual, like a gradient? So let me just start doing that right over here. I like using my finger. I don't have a blending stump, unfortunately. But using this, it really helps just slowly bring things together right over here. The line's almost completely gone. It's hard to tell, and it just seems really natural the way the gaps fill. And the difference between the value just slowly become just one big line, one big gradient. I like going upwards because it kind of pushes everything in that same direction, and it connects all these values really nicely. And then finally the last one. It slightly pushes everything up, but the idea is still the same. And boom, right over here, it magically now has become a very clean, very accurate gradient. You can just erase this right over here. Go like that, lighten it up a little bit. Right here. See that now? The moment the transition becomes gradual, your brain like stops reading it as a flat box and starts reading it as like a nice smooth surface. That's the magic right there. The gradual value change equals like this nice like curved form, you could say, and the sudden value change equals a hard edge. That's the whole rule. And now you take something like this and you apply it to the most fundamental form of all drawings, the sphere. So the circle's on the page, and you guys should also do this. Just make a light outline. It'll mostly disappear by the time we're done because we're going to be going over it quite a bit. So we're gonna assume the light source is coming from the upper left, so right here, this area, right over here. This means that the upper left stays bright and everything that curves away towards the lower right over here turns into a shadow. So we're first gonna coat it in like the first layer. It's gonna be very light, very little pressure. I'm gonna leave like roughly this much of the main highlight area, and everything else should go under the soft pressure first coating. I'm gonna go in a circular method as I find it the best, at least when it comes to going over the little finger method we did it over earlier. Just filling up the space. The very light thing. Just mapping out how we want to do this. Doesn't have to look very pretty. Just enough to get the job done. So I think this should be good enough. I'm gonna just go over it just like this. Just like this. Very nice, very soft, very light, very easy. Smoothing it out, very nice. Obviously we could go to the middle just by erasing it. Should be fine. Just like that. Mostly fine. Okay. Next, the second coat. So I'm gonna start by darkening these bottom sides, but not the complete bottom, because as the light is coming from the left, there's gonna be a slight reflection on the bottom half, which won't make the right side completely dark. So I'll leave some room for that, or I could just use the eraser, but either way works. Just make a little crescent as it's like it's the ball and it's curved, it's circular. So based on the light, it should be something like this. That should be fine. And now this so now the next part. Right over here, we're gonna start just adding our next layer. We want it to be somewhat similar to the layer before, as it is the midpoint, and it shouldn't be like a hard line, but rather a place of where it like gradually turns into lighter and lighter, because it's still a ball and there's not really hard lines, or at least not usually in real life. So we really gotta just bring that in and just stay with the nice medium tone and make sure everything blends well. Right here as well. Just wrap it around. Slowly bring it closer and closer to the middle. That's what we need to do. And now we just do our little finger method again. That should work really well for us over here. And then everything that goes outside of the circle could be just fixed with an eraser. Obviously I didn't make everything as dark as it should have been, but it still completes the job just fine. Still gets the point down. And we also see our little reflective line right here. And I'll just clean up the edges. Now we can obviously move on to the shadow. So that'd be right over here, just like something of the shape like that. Because it's the ball and the light's coming from this source right over here. And the darkest is right here where the ball meets the surface. And as it goes away, the darkness slowly fades out. So just like this. Also just gonna keep this something like that. I don't want to make the shadow too big, just to really just show the concept rather than making this picture perfect. And same thing here, we just kind of blend it out and that becomes the shadow of the whole wall. Obviously definitely not big enough, but that is the point. The reflective side still stands and it shows the curvature of the whole ball and the light. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. Please subscribe, comment, like, and join us in the next one where I teach you guys how to add the shading and stuff into 3D objects and 3D forms.